Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News. And I am just in time to complete this show for this week. Today is February 21st, and we are filming this live, and it'll be on the air as soon as we've completed, but it's at 12:30 in the afternoon. So I have been delaying this show for various reasons for the last 2 weeks. However, you know what happens. Things happen, and we had the snowstorm, we had personal issues, we had DCAT issues of access, and we also had turkey issues. So the turkey is out. Only one turkey this time. And I will get to the turkey later on. Okay. But welcome to our report. And I'm Mark Zuberek, reporting for the Topics of the Town. And I have my favorite guest, Tony Betancourt.
Hello,
Tony,
Danvers.
welcome to the show, and I want to thank you for participating all this time. The agenda and opinions are solely by the Topics of the Town host, our guests, contributors, and commentators. And the show is copyrighted, so do not start copying us in the future. So, just a little frivolity. Today's quote is, or a special saying that I have. I will introduce that with the first part of the quote: angry people are not always wise. Ben, if we can put up the quote. Style, which is us. Style is knowing who you are, what you want to say, and not giving a damn.
Okay.
Because we are not afraid to express our point of view as the report for this program or the comments for this program. Tony, I think we've accomplished that.
Oh, yeah, no question in my mind. Yeah, no question.
In the last shows that we've participated in. And this is a quote by Gore Vidal. When Gore Vidal died in 2012, the New York Times described the National Book Award-winning writer as both a famous feuder and someone who loved conspiracy theories. And I have been accused of having conspiracies.
Oh, yes.
And they don't like it, but that's the way it is.
Well, you're telling the truth, basically, what it comes down to.
Especially the ones that Vidal Gore imagined himself at the center of. A two-time congressional candidate, Vidal never ran out of opinions, filling 200 essays, 25 novels, and 2 memoirs when he wasn't fine-tuning scripts or trading quips with Johnny Carson.
Okay.
Johnny Carson was quite a character.
Oh, no question in my mind.
And they both deserved each other, and
Yes.
I think we should appreciate that.
Exactly.
To Vidal, style entailed all the ways people project themselves onto the world, imbuing them with confidence. And the thing is that, as I said earlier, I have been accused of being a conspiracy addict. But you know what? Conspiracies usually start with a rumor, then they develop into a true story that nobody wants to accept because they think this is a conspiracy against the world. Well, we have that happening in Danvers, and we need to address that.
No question in my mind.
I am resolute in presenting the truth regarding the matters of Danvers. Some of the stories are gathered by communicating with our residents. Some stories are buried on purpose to hide the truth. Investigations are not pursued because the truth is embarrassing to our leaders. So, let's explore some of these news stories that would never appear in public. These stories are intentionally swept under the rug, as is the custom in Danvers. There is pushback all the time. There is censorship and obstruction to the truth. So let's clear the air. Now, this is a quote that I used at the last show, which was almost 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I have a local, national, state news items that have been coming up over and over again. But today I want to go into the most recent ones, which I picked up from the Patch, Salem News, discussions with individuals in town, raising hell with the Board of Selectmen.
But if you notice, it's when you see things in the patch and all this stuff, it's all selected. I mean, it seems that way. Some stories you're looking for, you can't find them anywhere. They want us to know. That's basically what it comes down to. It only goes out there, what they want you to know, basically.
Our media, newspapers especially, are so jaded and so influenced by the local politicians that any story that shows up in Patch or Salem News is not gathered by reporters. It's planted by the organization. As an example, I'll give you one that I have been complaining about, the Danvers dump and the solar array that is being planned.
Is that on hold, though?
Nobody knows,
Well,
and
that's the
nobody
thing.
wants to address it except when they throw it into the Salem News, when they planted the article last week that there is something going on at the dump, but no details have ever been
I did see something,
provided.
but there was no details, right?
That's right. I have been dealing with the dump
Well, the landfill.
many years now, since they announced that there's going to be a
Solar array.
solar array or solar farm
Right.
for generating electricity. Now, the only thing that's been going on, and it has been approved by the EPA and all that, is the filling of the dump cavities that have evolved over the years.
The horseshoe. They're filling in the horseshoe, from what I
The
understand.
horseshoe is one, but there are others.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
And
aware of that.
the only thing that I can gather from what they're filling is contaminated dirt that is not as contaminated as the dump, because the EPA would not allow that to happen, but they are permitting the town to invest in dumping semi-contaminated dirt.
That's what I
And
understand.
I've asked the question of, where's this dirt coming from? It's coming from as far down South Shore, the North Shore, New Hampshire, and it is being recorded as dumped at the site, and supposedly it is being tested at every cycle of the contractor removing soil from a site to move it to the dump. But the dump is getting filled to the point where, and listen to this, and this is something that's been going on with the windows wide open. Everybody knows about it. There was a $4 million bond issue that was, or a loan that was issued to the contractor for dumping the dirt. $4 million, and that $4 million was supposed to generate $6 million worth of returned revenue, because the contractors are paying the town or the administrator at the dump the cost of dumping their dirt at that location. That contractor has the responsibility of leveling it, spreading it around, testing it, and rejecting it if it's more contaminated than it should be.
Where do they put it if it's contaminated?
They remove it. They take it back. The contractor has to take it back. I have not seen anybody remove anything yet, but I've been told, and I've spoke to Mr. King, our town engineer.
He's the one that's in charge of that now?
He's the one that's in charge of the soil and the filling of the dump cavities. However, he has also records of all of these dumps that are being made. So the thing is that it was a $4 million loan to the town. It was paid out to the contractor for a return of $6 million in revenue, because that's the cost of doing business.
Let me ask you a question now. Now, since Trump got into office, he's doing a lot of stuff with the EPA. I wonder if any of these things are going to get lightened up or anything. We don't know. I mean, that's the sad part.
Well, I hate to
things
divert,
things
Tony.
are chasing.
I hate to divert,
Okay.
Tony, but I'm hoping that whatever the federal government, EPA, is doing is helping us to define these particular issues. And one of them is the EPA issue at Beverly Airport.
Yes, that's another one.
Because the state, Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, is currently reviewing the appeal that we have made to the Department of Environmental Protection, and they came out to the site on January 3rd.
I think that's what, yeah, right, exactly.
And they have received complaints and information in regards to that particular permit.
What's weird too is, like you said, I didn't go look at the hole. You went. Now there was water in the hole when you guys went to look at it. Doesn't that tell you that's wetlands? Or am I confused?
It wasn't just water in the hole. There was water on top of the grass that was growing there.
That's what I'm saying. So
the problem is...
Shouldn't Danvers have looked a little bit better into this?
Well,
honestly?
Danvers only does what the state tells them to do. Oh. And the problem is that we are waiting for the reply from Mr. Lally, who was the inspector at that time. I don't know what happened. There's no response yet.
No.
However, let's continue on the dump.
No, yeah, that's
the
fine.
Dump,
I didn't mean to.
The dump has now gone to another $4 million.
Oh, really?
That they have a loan for, and they're supposed to be generating $12 million worth of revenue.
I did hear that. I remember hearing that figure, $12 million.
That was discussed and presented at the town meeting, but nobody knows anything about it.
So basically, they've put out $8 million, and they're hoping the return is going to be $12 million. Is that it?
Right. So it's not a great return, because right now what they're predicting is that the solar array panels will not be erected until 2027. What are they waiting for? They're waiting for the law to change.
I think they're waiting for the price to go up.
Well, the price is already
That's what I'm saying.
And who's making the revenue? Who's making the money on this contract?
Well, that's it. David Lane was heavily involved in this, and the other town manager left. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, David Lane was also kicked out of town.
I know. That's why it
fraud.
makes it, exactly. So
we
don't even know what he was kicked out of town for. Never told us.
Well,
we have ideas.
We know, but we have not been told.
Right. But that's just it. Like you said, they sweep everything under the rug. Just like the other day, too. I don't know if you noticed that the FBI now, the CVS was held up.
Right.
Last month. All of a sudden now, they have the TV cameras on it. We didn't know anything about it.
A month later.
That's the point I'm getting at. You figure they'd be following up and we know what's going on. No. It took the video. Everybody was wondering what's going on with Channel 4 down at the thing. They're taking pictures at the CVS. That's what it is. They finally put it in the paper, whatever. But, I mean, you figure, I don't know.
Well,
they only want us to know what we want to know. That's it, basically, you know?
We'll continue with the
go back to the landfill.
Municipal Light Board and the dump.
Yes.
The dump itself is being sustained by tax revenue for the capping and the sealing and the burning off the gases at the dump site itself. So that's a $300,000 or $400,000 a year investment that we have to make because the dump has been capped, but it has to be maintained so the gases don't accumulate and blow up someplace.
Yeah, exactly. What they do is the flares.
And what they're really protecting is West Peabody, because Peabody residents have built master homes, I mean big units on the Peabody side of the dump, because that's where our boundary is for the
Goodale
dump.
Street. Some of it's some Danvers homes up there.
Yes, there are.
It's weird how that is, huh?
And Rosewood is up there too, the high rise.
Okay.
Because it's right against the dump as well. So what I did is, being an investigative reporter, I went and requested some information in regard to what's going on at the municipal light board, because they're really the ones that are promoting this project.
Right. Shouldn't they be paying for it?
You got my question.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean,
the question is right now is that whatever is going on at the dump is on the taxpayer's dime, because it is being funded by bonds or loans to the town and being repaid by the revenue, but in case that revenue dries up, the town residents will pay for it from the tax revenue. So I went investigating, and I haven't been to the municipal light board or the electric company for a long time, because I thought I'll leave them alone, let them generate their own stories for me later on, and they have. I asked several questions. There was a Mustang, electric Mustang, Ford Mustang, that was bought and being used by town employee, and there was no reason why it was missing, because when David Lane left, that was the vehicle that he was using at that time as a demonstration of solar. I mean, not solar, but electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding out is that Mustang was not bought by the electric company.
Wasn't?
It was bought by the town Department of Public Works. So they also have another vehicle, which was not totally identified, but it's another Ford SUV, electric one.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know who's using it now. But the one that, the Mustang, which sticks out like a sore thumb, is being used by the interim town Department of Public Works manager, understudy to David Lane. So that is being used. And I asked, where is it being stored? Well, what they said is it's being stored behind the town hall so nobody sees it. I says, why did we even buy it if we don't want everybody to know that it is being used as a demonstration of electrical vehicles? So that's some of the questions that are coming back. I'm going to the Municipal Light Board meeting, which is scheduled for February 25th, which is next Tuesday. And I am going to ask a few questions at that meeting, because what I'm finding out is that the Municipal Light Board, as of February 7th of 2019, has a memorandum that's been issued of what the Municipal Light Board is responsible for. And what it looks like to me, it is to rubber stamp everything that the town manager wants. So there's a 2-page memorandum, and the thing is, all it's doing is defending the role of the town manager as the...
But we have no town manager.
The interim town manager
is the one
took
that's-
over, sure.
So they're actually,
Well, they have a electric company manager. I think his first name is Clint.
okay.
And he was promoted within to run the electric municipal light board,
Okay.
or the electric company. However, that is under direct responsibility to the town manager, and in this case, the interim town manager,
Rodney Conway.
Rodney Conley.
Okay.
The second item that I identified,
But wait, hold. Is the select board involved in this or not?
the town meeting was involved in this.
Okay.
The thing is that nobody's watching what's going on in our town, and they're delegating everything to the one individual that runs this place. The Board of Selectmen are asleep at the switch. Grant. I asked for the grant date and application and source of funding for charging stations at all town public locations. What is the frequency of use by the town or the public?
Are they making any money on those
Who
things?
is responsible for the use of cost of electric power reported? There, I got a very good answer, and
I'm curious. I don't know how it works. I'm listening.
it was all purchased and installed on grant money.
Okay.
Grant money for, I think there's 6 charging stations.
There's one at town hall.
There's one at Town Hall, there's one at the electric company location in
Okay.
their garage.
Is there one over here in the park?
There's
the
one
park-
here in this parking lot as well.
Okay.
And there, I think at the school,
The
the high school
Yeah, the high
has
school
one.
right by the tennis courts.
Yeah.
They have like 3 or 4 there, I think.
I have quantities of use and the cost of use. However, it did not make any sense to me, so I'm going to be doing
Oh, I can
further,
imagine. I mean,
further investigation.
so if I had an electric car and needed to be charged, I could pull up over there and charge it, basically.
Yeah, but you have to put in a credit card
That's what I'm
to
wondering.
get paid for.
And the credit card goes where?
That's your credit card,
Right, it
so
goes to
the
the-
bill goes to you.
Yeah, but who's getting the money from it? Electric light?
No, the money that is getting paid
Yes.
is getting paid to the electric light as a metered customer.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure
So
out.
it's like a customer.
Right.
So each one of them is but the thing is it at lower rates, or is it at induced rates so they can promote this kind of activity? There are very few, but several electric vehicles in this town.
Oh, there's a
that
lot of
have-
them. In my family, there's 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
there's more than
most,
three if you go out further, but my son-in-law and daughter have one.
but
and my
most,
son-in-law have
yeah,
one.
but most of the individuals have a charging station in their garage.
Yes, that's what they do. They
And
all
that's
have-
what they install.
Right.
So that is a question I asked, and I got a very good answer on this. And I want to tell the electric division, and I'm not going to use names, but it was a very good discussion, and I've got a reply. But as always, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I got accused of asking a question that I should know the answer to. I said, no, that's not true. I needed to ask the question for everybody else in town that has been asking that same question, but they're afraid to ask the question.
Next question. Are they making money on these things? Are these things being used?
These things have cost the town nothing.
That I understand.
So the investment.
Eventually, somehow it's going to cost the town to keep them up or do something. So I
That's
don't know.
right. And that's another thing that I've asked for is what are the warranties and the maintenance costs. They were not able to do that. So as we went through the Mustang, grant or funding request for the Ford EV SUV, who is currently utilizing the vehicle, and what purpose of the vehicle when they purchased it. And I believe this is another one that was purchased by the town. The problem is that we're doing all this innovation in electrical vehicles to generate billings for the electric company, but the electric company does not invest anything into these processes because they're waiting for tax money to do that.
Do you know that the police department has a truck, electric truck?
Well, I haven't asked that question
Yes,
yet.
they do. They have one. They
But-
can use it 3 shifts. They can use it 2 shifts. It needs to be charged for the
Is that the large pickup?
pickup truck. Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to the chief about that, and when I had my Corvette in front of the town hall, he and I talked about souped up vehicles. Then I said, what is your idea about using the pickup? He says, well, that was, I think, what he said to me, and I'll ask, is that it was through grant money.
Okay.
So,
Because I don't remember. I didn't remember seeing anything
the
about
thing
it.
is that we have political bodies in town that are very interested in green energy and promoting the tree huggers. And one of them, or many of them, are on the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, there's no question about it. I agree
So the thing is, we're spending taxpayer money for innovations in electrical vehicles. The thing is that we do not always take advantage of the incentives that the federal or state government provides, but we invest our own tax revenue.
I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, a lot of people like electric vehicles, but it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Because if you have to go on a long trip or something, you know what I mean? It doesn't.
Well,
And you got to be smart with it too. You got to know how to use it. You got to know how to to charge it. You got to know how to have it on the phone to pay for it and stuff like that.
Right.
And so there's a lot to it.
Well, the
It's
thing-
like my daughter told me, for me, it's not for you, Dad.
that's right. See, the thing is that over the last 4 years, we've had an awful lot of free cash left over from the budgets.
We always have a lot of
So-
free cash.
So, at times we had $7 or $8 million worth of over budgeting, and then that's left over at the end of the year,
I thought-
and then we spend it on pet projects.
I thought it was always about $6 million, basically. In that
Well,
area
it's
there.
up to 7 or 8
Oh,
now.
okay. And how about the electric light? They still got that $20 million in the kitty there?
Absolutely.
I mean,
And
that's
I've
another
asked
thing.
that
I mean-
question, and this is where I'm going to the meeting of the Municipal Light Board on February 25th, and I am going to ask that question in regard to what's left in the budget and the big deal that happened at that time 3 years ago 4 years ago, is that the consultant that they hired for $70,000 told them that they need more free cash hanging around without allocating it to purposes. But the board, the Municipal Light Board, requested that they allocate these funds to certain items and hold them for investment, but they need to be put into a revenue generating or interest generating vehicles of where to invest that money. Right now, it's sitting there with no interest.
Really?
There's one advantage of the $20 million is that it's part of the town treasury. And whenever the town has never, or recently, in the last 20 years, has not ever had to go and get a temporary loan to support the end of the budget year.
For the electric light, is that what you're saying?
For the town.
The town, okay.
For the town.
You saw that the bond rating dropped on the town, too. You noticed that?
Yes.
Went from AAA to AA.
Yeah, but why don't you ask yourself why? Because they're spending it like crazy on things that do not contribute to the value of the town.
I don't think it makes a difference, AAA, AA. I mean, it's
yes,
still
it
good.
does.
It does?
In bonding,
Okay.
when
bonding.
they go out for a mortgage,
It's cheaper if it's AAA.
it's cheaper if it's AAA.
Okay, got it.
So the last item I had on here.
You're better off having the money and paying for it up front. Don't borrow.
That's right. What is the plan for future use and or disposal of these vehicles? What is the life of these components, including maintenance, repairs, and power requirements? So these are the questions that have been floating around
I know, but
from the public.
The only one that's really doing well is the Tesla. The Tesla is pretty well, you know what I mean, except for them catching on fire here and there, but it's not, that many. But I mean, all the other companies are really backing off on them, if you notice. There's not too many of them. I mean, you figure Ford's got the truck, and they're not pushing it much more.
Well, Nissan, Toyota,
Yeah,
have
but
their vehicles.
they're not seeing too much. Even Kia's got one too, I think,
Yes.
hybrid one. But
Yes.
they're not pushing them though, because I don't
Well-
think they have the. I don't think they have the full technology of the Tesla right now. Okay?
Well, there's no government. They're all waiting for government funding. I mean, it's all about money.
Well, if Biden was in office, they might have gotten it. I don't think they're going to get it with Trump.
Well, they're eliminating some of it now.
Exactly.
So, I just wanted to bring you up to date on this because this is an important issue, and I would encourage everyone, if they're interested in what's going on with the electric company, to go to a meeting on February 25th, 8:30 in the morning, at the conference room at 2 Borough Street, and it is usually about an hour and a half. So I'm going, and I understand that there are some individuals that are participating in this meeting. They got the bug, so they're asking questions.
Also, I believe that the rate for billing us went up. I think
Yeah, $7.50.
it went up another. They started off with $7.50 and they doubled it now. Is that what happened?
Well, no.
Okay.
I think the first one was $15. That's what they wanted.
Oh, but they didn't get the 15.
They got $7.50.
Okay, now they went.
Now they went and doubled it to $15.
They got the 15 that they wanted.
And the thing is, there is no rhyme or reason for that, because in the past, all of those responsibilities, the billing, the office clerical staff, and everything else, was all included in the rate. They are afraid of raising the rate because now they have developed a way to compensate for that by these fees, and the residents are helpless.
Well, you are. The reason being, I got an apartment that's open, so I'm not using much electricity. Basically, the bill was $43. Okay, out of the $43, that was it, $15 or more, almost $20 was just for the fees and stuff. Okay.
Well, for the commercial and
So basically, they're hurting people that don't use power.
right. Well, no, that's what they wanted to do, because they didn't want to have laggards in using electricity. They wanted to generate more revenue. So, okay.
Okay.
So we're there. I want to address one other thing that we already talked about, but what I have here is Governor Healy, in her wisdom,
I don't know. This is becoming a mess, I think.
has come into the picture in regard to Essex Tech.
Oh, really?
After all the complaints and bitching that has been happening about the number of students
Okay.
and the cost of the education. So now, what she has come up with, let me just read this. Governor Maura Healey's administration is proposing a new statewide admissions policy for vocational schools that include a lottery system to fill high demand seats in the programs. But advocates say the plan will still leave some students behind. The proposed set is to be considered by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education on Tuesday, would require the state's 28 vocational and technical schools to use lotteries to fill limited number of
What's
seats.
that mean?
They're going to have the
Other words-
applicants thrown into the basket,
Okay.
and they're going to pull out number one, you're in. Number two, you're in, up to the level of quantities of students that they want from each town. So this is accomplishing two things. Accomplishing the elimination of a special school, because the vocational schools are special. And now they're trying to mix and match from all over the state of who can attend. And in our school system, there are 51 communities that surround Essex Tech that can send their students to this facility.
I see the Essex Tech bus in Methuen.
Yeah. Oh, it goes all the way out
I
to...
know, but I thought there was a different branch for a different Essex Tech for I thought it was like a different school for that.
No, Essex Tech has a role in the technical education and into the agricultural, Essex County Agricultural School that was there originally.
Okay.
So what they do is, when I think North Shore Voc at that time
Because you got Whitney
had
Tech, right?
14,
But-
yeah. But it does, Whittier Tech does not draw students from the agricultural school
So
in
that's the
Essex.
difference. I see.
So because it's a combined source
okay. Now I'm
of
starting to understand.
education.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. Because I was surprised to see the trucks. I mean, the bus up in Lewin. I couldn't believe it.
But that's for the agricultural piece, because the school is made up of both components.
So, see, because I thought in that area there, they would go to Whittier. Tech.
For the technical education, they'll go to Whittier.
Okay, but if they want, farming and all that stuff,
Agricultural.
agriculture, they come down here.
And they can combine them.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
See, this thing all started back in the 1998-99 season of Board of Selectmen. The Essex County Association was involved, Essex Tech.
Because I remember when the Aggie was there, it was just for agriculture.
The Aggie was for the 51 communities. No. Yeah, 51 communities that surrounded or that were part of Essex County.
Okay.
Now, North Shore Tech came in,
Right, that's,
and they only represented 14 communities.
okay.
And now we have a representative on the school committee for Essex Tech, but it's for the entire school. So we have a representative on there
Right.
as well. You know what? I used to go to the school committee meetings of Essex Aggie and vocational school.
Okay.
I have not seen anybody or heard of anybody attending these meetings here in Danvers.
I know, but it's tough. Everybody today, it's hard to live today, Mark. I'm telling you. I mean, you need 2 jobs for certain things. I mean, a lot of people don't have the time. Not to be funny, but I mean.
Well, then we can't complain if we don't.
That's true, I guess. You're
So,
right.
That's one of the stories that I wanted to bring up to the audience.
Well, see, you bring a lot of good information to the audience. I mean, I'm learning a lot right here, sitting down talking to you. I mean, you know.
Well, let's move on.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I know.
Because I have some other ones here that are even more interesting.
See, I'm getting
Speaking
education.
of Governor Healy
Okay.
and her great wisdom of running this state into the ground,
By the looks of it, yeah.
they just passed another $425 million supplemental budget to fund the illegal immigration
Don't tell me that, please.
of the people that are residing and taking advantage of the welfare system in this state. Now, like last show,
You realize that if you come to this state from North Carolina, South Carolina, anywhere, and you're here for 12 hours and you don't have a room, that the state has to put you up in a hotel?
yeah.
That's ridiculous. They got to get rid of that law.
But when you're
They're a magnet. They're bringing people here.
but when you're a resident or a veteran that's homeless,
You're not getting
they
anything.
don't have anything.
Yeah, if you're an old person that really needs help, you're not getting it. It's
But-
terrible.
Speaking, well, we may not be able to get too far on these.
I understand that, but it's just
But
it's
let
sad.
let me just. Massachusetts is at a crossroads. Governor Maura Healey just released her fiscal year 2026 budget.
Okay.
And if you thought last year's spending was bad, you haven't seen anything yet. Her budget is riddled with new and expanded taxes that will make Massachusetts even less competitive, hurting families, businesses, and driving more people out of the Commonwealth.
That's happening.
3 weeks ago, I had a story about the number of U-Haul trucks that are leaving the state
Okay.
instead of coming in. We have more people moving out of this state than even California.
Really?
That's what is being reported. So what I wanted to address in this article, this is from the Mass Fiscal Organization. Some of the worst provisions of Healy's budgets include a candy tax, which will generate $25 million per year.
Candy tax.
A candy tax. For years, Massachusetts had rightly treated candy like groceries, but now they want it as a luxury item. Healy wants to apply the sales tax for candy.
Okay, what consists of candy? If you have cough drops, is that candy?
Yeah. Anything that's got sugar in it. Second item, nicotine tax hike. Massachusetts already has the highest cigarette smuggling rate.
Everybody goes to New Hampshire to buy them.
Synthetic nicotine products like Zyn and Alp. At the same time, rates of tobacco further incentivizing black market sales and pushing more small business out of the state.
That's what they're doing. It's ridiculous. Even now, beer. I buy beer up in New Hampshire. That way I can just throw the cans away. It makes it more. It's much easier.
Well, don't let the state troopers catch you, because she'll send the state troopers to the border.
I'll be arrested.
Yes. This tax will cost taxpayers $2 million each year. Now, this is in addition to the highest tax that we have on cigarettes and tobacco products.
But all they're going to do is make you go over the border to get it.
Well,
Rhode Island and New Hampshire is going to make out. A lot of people live close to the border, so it just makes more sense. So they're actually, I don't know, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Another tax, a new prescription drug tax.
I heard something about that.
Healy has proposed a new prescription drug tax disguised as a pharmacy assessment.
Yeah, I heard
that
something
would
about that.
charge pharmacies up to $2 per prescription to fund migrant-driven increases. No kidding. Why don't they stop spending money on the illegal immigrants, not migrants? They're not migrants. And you know, I'm speaking from the point where I am an immigrant to this country.
Me too. And before we came here, my father came here. My uncle was a citizen, and we got called over. Okay, so my father came over a year and a half ahead of time to work, to set up housing for us. Everything else, we had to make sure that we had housing. Everything was set up before we even came in. Okay,
we come from the same cloth. Prescription drug. Okay, we got that. Capping charitable deductions. Massachusetts voters approved the charitable tax deduction by referendum back in 2000, but Healy wants to roll back those voter-approved rights. By capping deductions, she's discouraging philanthropy and hurting Massachusetts nonprofits. This backdoor tax hike will cost taxpayers $164 million every year, because you're not going to be able to deduct the charitable contributions. And there's other things that are included in there.
You know what they need? They need Doge to come in and take a look at Massachusetts. They want him in California already. They already said when he's done with Washington, they want him in California. We'll want him in Massachusetts.
Well, listen to this one. I got 3 stars on this one.
All right.
New municipal option taxes.
Municipal option tax? What does that mean?
That means that they are permitting the local municipalities to impose increases in
what?
Instead of controlling state spending, Healy wants to give cities and towns the ability to raise local taxes on hotel stays, meals, and even your vehicle. This means even more costs for Massachusetts residents and small businesses, making it more expensive to live and work here. Healy wants to raise your taxes and allow your municipal officials to raise local taxes even more.
How? We're already...
No. These are taxes that are set by the local officials, and they are reviewed every few years. But there are...
The hotel one, I mean, they got so many illegals in hotels. We're losing out on that already. What are they trying to do?
We already lost out.
That's what I'm saying.
So this is the plan of our elected leaders in the state. This is all on top of a 7.2% budget increase over last year. We cannot let this happen.
Oh. Even in town, it's terrible. I mean, God, I can't even explain it
well,
anymore.
This is
it's not easy to live anymore.
This is just the surface of the appeal and what they're looking for. Look what they're doing to our planning and our zoning.
I know,
they are passing laws in the middle of the night, and we have to live with them. So now they're going to be passing increases in taxes, and wait till 2.5 gets eliminated.
Did you hear about
because
how about the single-family homes? You hear that you can build an in-law or something?
that's another.
I know.
That's another law that the state legislature, our Representative Sally Kearns and Joan Lovely and the adjoining towns have passed, and we are living with it.
I know, but it doesn't make any sense to me. If you have a single-family home, you don't want a two-family going up next door, do you?
They're meeting the needs of the state, and the needs of the state
The needs
are
of the
for
state,
illegal.
no one can afford it. They got to make them affordable. When you make it affordable, I think it would be a different situation.
You got it. So, I
They keep
think
telling us affordable. I don't know they don't know what affordable is.
no.
What they think affordable is, no one can afford it.
There is no such thing as affordable housing. It is reduced price housing, low income housing. That's what it's really
Yeah,
called.
but what? By peanuts.
By peanuts is right.
That's it.
So, the one thing that I want to bring up to date is the current town manager screening committee
Okay.
efforts.
Okay.
Now, this has been kept as a top secret because they don't want anybody to know that we have a mass of applications that came in to replace Steve Bartha.
How many applications do you know, by any chance?
They will not tell you that. See, they've had a meeting on February 5th,
Okay.
which was the day after the selectmen's meeting, and they have appointed the screening committee with 5 individuals
I did hear that.
and 2 on the Board of Selectmen.
I believe it's Maureen and Mr.
Maureen
Bennett.
and Bennett, yes.
Okay.
So they have had meetings, and the first one was held on February 5th, Town Managers Conference Room.
Okay.
It was called to order, introduction of members, election committee chair and clerk, presentation by Community Paradigm Associates, the consultant,
Okay.
of the town manager search process and all associated applicable legal requirements. And then that was it. After that, they enter into executive session to review these applications.
Let me ask you a question. Mr. Rybicki was there at the February 5th meeting.
Yes.
He brought up some good, very good points. Did anybody ever talk about that or
It
look
was,
into that?
to me and to you, it was all after the fact. Because by that meeting, which was in February, the time frame for applying for that position was between January 9th and January 29th.
So you couldn't take any more applications after the 29th?
Right. And they didn't have the revisions that he provided, and he submitted them to the Board of Selectmen, and all they told me after the fact of the next meeting is that, did you read the 5-page description of the position? No, I did, and I do not agree with what was included by the consultant, because all that was to attract somebody to come and live in Danvers. And it was a description of the community.
And they're still
It
fighting.
wasn't a description of the responsibilities of the town manager.
From what I understand right now, he has to live in Danvers.
Yes,
They're talking about changing it, but they haven't changed it yet.
No.
Am I correct?
yeah, that's right. So,
I think you should live in Danvers.
so now, what this generated, and I looked at the agendas for the upcoming meetings, is that on February 20th,
Okay.
the search committee,
That was yesterday then.
yes, they had a meeting, but the meeting was no longer held at the town hall. It was held at X500 Boardroom, Xavier Hall, St. John's Prep,
Oh,
72 Spring Street.
okay.
And this was at 7:45 a.m. So there is no public input into this.
There's not supposed to be?
Well, that all depends on how the search proceeds.
Okay.
But they have to come to a 3 or 4 people that they want to be interviewed, and those people will have to be interviewed in a public meeting.
Now, what are they doing? They're taking all the applications and sorting them out and breaking them down to 5? Is that what they're doing?
They're supposedly going down to 3.
Okay.
But
We don't even know how many apply, though.
no, they won't tell you because they would have to. They can tell you how many, but they are afraid, or their policy is not to divulge the names of the individuals. And it could be that we have individuals from Town Hall that are applying for the position. There are individuals
Oh,
in
really?
the
You think so?
community that are applying for the position.
So anybody can apply for it?
Yes,
Okay.
as long as you meet the qualifications, which are not very clear. So, the next meeting is being held tomorrow,
Tomorrow Saturday.
Saturday, February 22nd, at the same location, at X500 Boardroom, Xavier Hall, St. John's Prep, 72 Spring Street.
Here's what I can say. I hope they're not paying the prep to have it there. I'm hoping the prep's giving it to them for free.
They're probably paying the rent for it. Oh, come on. I bet you. Oh,
I'm hoping not.
Maybe I should ask that question.
Yeah. The reason
Maybe I
being,
should go to
because
St.
the prep has to take care of it somehow.
Well, that's right, and especially on a Saturday,
Huh.
and because this one on Saturday is at 9:45 a.m.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't want to get up too early, but I bet you there's a rental fee for the
No,
hall.
it can't be. I think
I bet you there is.
no, there can't be.
I
I got
will
a funny
ask.
feeling. All right,
you-
ask.
I will ask.
The reason why I say that, they keep complaining that the prep doesn't do anything for them. I'm hoping to see that at least they're doing something for us, okay? It's better than the airport. The airport does nothing for us.
I have several questions, and we're running out of time,
Yes,
but
you
I
are.
just want one question. I have 9 questions here that
See?
I prepared, and these are my questions. The question to the candidate should be, the appointed town manager position is no longer a public service vocation. It is a career path. This is not an elected position and has limitations on authority. How does that affect your job expectations? What are your ultimate long-term goals for the position? How long do you intend to stay? There are questions on here that I have developed.
That's a very
and-
good question, because you want a person to stay. You don't want to keep changing every couple of years or every...
Well, this one lasted, Steve lasted for 10 years.
He was here 10 years?
10 years.
Wow, okay.
And I remember the day.
How long
that-
was Wayne here for?
34.
Wow.
So we have 30 seconds. I'd just like to wrap up. Next show will be February 27th, which is next Thursday. And we can make that any earlier in the day. But I have asked Damien Enketel to come on the
Okay.
board to review the state impact to
Okay.
our budget, because by then we should have some budget. Good night, Danvers. Thank you very much. And thank you, Tony,
No
for
problem.
being here.
Glad to help you.